Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder as we continue to use the Mega Mobile team, so we're just going to jump into it. As always, if you enjoyed the series, please show your support by leaving a like on the video. It just takes a quick second, and it would mean a lot to me. So this team has been really fun to use. Yesterday was a bit frustrating of an episode because I think we really saw how offensive the team can be and how sometimes that can limit us when we play, especially with two choice users, so definitely going to want to try to improve on that, but we'll see how it goes. Also, just a quick announcement, since I'm not sure if you guys know, I'm actually going to be away the next week. It is spring break for me, and I'll be going to Utah for a ski trip with a bunch of friends from school. So I'm not sure exactly how much content I'll be able to provide during that week. I honestly can't promise you anything, just because I'll try to pre-record some stuff, but you know, there's only tonight. It's already pretty late tonight, and then tomorrow I get home from school. You know, want to record a couple of episodes if I can, but I've also got a big essay due on Friday, so it's a really crunch for time, as we're going to find a Japanese opponent with a rating of 1841. So just letting you guys know that content will slow down for the next week. I'm not sure if I can even get anything up since I'm not going to be recording while I'm there. I'm really sorry for it. I would have tried to pre-record more episodes, but I've just been so busy this week, like getting home really late from school and doing extracurricular stuff. But I hope you guys don't mind. It'll be a short break, and then I'll be back ready with full force. But anyway, let's get into this game. My opponent's got the infamous Gengar and Whimsicott and Terrakion. You know, that's just a very annoying combo. Like, this team is, it's a core that we do see a lot because Gengar, you know, with Mega Gengar can lock you in. Though, there's a good chance, not a good chance, but there's a chance it's just normal Gengar here since my opponent's Mega Evolution. Definitely Charizard wide, though Gengar could be another potential Mega. There's also the possibility of Power Strap with the Zoomer on Gengar, though I don't think so. This team looks a lot more offensive than a Power Strap team. Of course, Whimsicott has the ability to set up Tailwind, it can beat up, it can Encore and whatnot. Terrakion, Landorus, and Azumarill, three of the more, you know, offensive physical attackers in the game. So let's see, what do I want to lead with? I do want to try to set up Tailwind with Talonflame immediately if I can. I mean, the beat up combo is always so scary from Whimsicott Terrakion, and I feel like I need to lead with something that can counteract that. So leading with something like Talonflame and Virizion actually makes sense because I can just Tailwind protect the first turn. Whereas, I don't know, Terrakion kind of just beats everything else on my team. Like, I don't want to lead with, like, Talonflame, Rotom Wash, because that's really weak to Rock Slide. I mean, Landorus is alright here, I guess. But it can get Icy Winded by the Azumarill. Not the Azumarill, the Gengar. Wow. I was looking at Team Preview and I saw the Azumarill under Gengar. Let's see. But then I'm really weak to the Landorus T that my opponent might bring. You know, I'm going to lead with Talonflame and Landorus, actually. With Virizion in the back. And I'm actually going to bring Mawile this time around, just because if I can set up Tailwind, Mawile outspeeds my opponent's team. Though, in retrospect, that might not have been the best idea, because my opponent has Tailwind with his Whimsicott as well. But I don't know, I feel like the Intimidate can go a long way here, given that my opponent is Azumarill, Lando, and Terrakion. Though, Hydreigon wouldn't have been a terrible call here either, though it doesn't really like going up against Azumarill. So I'm going to go with my Talonflame Landorus lead against my opponent's Gengar and Azumarill. So, there is actually a possibility for the Power Strap to be coming out here. Once again, I'm still not sure, but I guess we'll see. Huh. I put myself in a bad position already. Because if that Gengar carries Will-O-Wisp, it can just Will-O-Wisp this Landorus slot. I'll Tailwind, and do I want to Rock Slide? I don't know if it's Mega Gengar or not, that's the thing, because if it is Mega Gengar, Earthquake actually knocks it out. Let's see. I'll go for the Earthquake. It's really good damage onto a Zoomer anyway, and if it's not Mega Gengar, I can just switch out. So let's see. I say let's see a lot, like just in the past few words. Azumarill is actually going to switch out. Great switch from my opponent. It is going to be Landorus C coming in, one of the best Pokemon to switch in there for my opponent. So, great play by my opponent's end. Means Talonflame will be able to get up this Tailwind. It is going to be Mega Gengar though. Okay, there we go. So now I'm really wondering if he's got Power Strap or not, because it's definitely a possibility, but we'll see what Gengar goes for here. It's going to Protect, which is actually perfect, because it means now I get to Earthquake freely away. I can also Will-O-Wisp the Landorus T-Slot. I'm not sure if my opponent's expecting that, so that turn 1 actually plays out as ideally as it could have, though I guess I could have switched out the Landorus. I don't know, I still like Landorus out here to put on the offensive pressure, especially against the Gengar. So now I can't switch out, but I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp onto Landorus to reduce its attack power and go for the Earthquake. Getting a Will-O-Wisp off there will go a long way because it means that it can't knock me out, especially with the Pokemon I have in the back. Also want to figure out what item it has here, though. With the Tailwind, I outspeed it regardless. But that Gengar's probably going to want to switch out because it doesn't want to take an Earthquake. So I get guaranteed free damage off, and by Gengar switching out, I get to switch out with my Landorus, because of course right now I am trapped in with both of my Pokemon. So 4-4, I don't know, pretty even position. I have Tailwind up, but he got the Intimidate off against my physical type attackers, and he's got a Mega Gengar out to lock me in. So Mega Gengar is a really interesting Mega Evolution because of its ability. You know, I used Gothitelle for the majority of 2014. Oh wow, he's gonna stay in with both Pokemon, so I get the Will-O-Wisp off against the Landorus, which is great, unless it has Lumberry. Nope. And I do get a Choice Band Earthquake off here. I'm not sure if it can knock out the Gengar, though, because I am intimidated, so let's see. Oh, wow, it actually picks up the KO. That is perfect. So that turn couldn't have played out any better, actually. As we do see a Rock Slide come out from that Landorus. Is going to miss my Landorus. Going to connect with my Talonflame. However, it's not going to be able to knock it out, so my Talonflame is able to get another attack off. So Will-O-Wisp going a really, really long way there for my Talonflame. And I knocked out my opponent's Mega Evolution, which is obviously great for me. I feel really good right now as well, just because we haven't seen the Whimsicott come out. And I was really scared of the potential Whimsicott play from my opponent, but looks like he didn't bring it. So definitely got to feel pretty good about my position right now. Now, I don't want to go for a Will-O-Wisp just because he can Aqua Jet my Talonflame. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Brave Bird my the Azumarill and switch out into Mawile. There's not much I lose here. You know, if you're my opponent, you don't want to be Earthquaking yourself. Azumarill can't really do too much to Mawile, though of course my Mawile is pretty weak. I do have Tailwind up, and this way I get an Intimidate off against both of these physical type attackers. Talonflame gets a hit off, and then Landorus T shuffles back in. As he actually goes for the Protect with the Azumarill. I am 100% fine with that. Though that is a good play, you know, to avoid it getting burned or whatnot. As we are going to see a Rock Slide come out. That's going to pick up the KO here on Talonflame. But Talonflame has definitely pulled its weight this game. Managed to set up a very important Tailwind and was able to burn the Landorus T. So, like I said, definitely got to be feeling pretty good right now. Let's see. Based off what my opponent has on his team, I'd actually guess Terrakion as the last Pokemon. Like, nothing else really makes much sense. So yeah, I'll bring in Landorus here to get another Intimidate off. It's a bit interesting because if you're my opponent now, you really don't want to stay in with that Landorus, but you also don't want to switch out because I can obviously predict that. I mean, Virizion wouldn't have been a terrible switch in here, but the thing is, actually no, I mean, like, Play Rough probably wouldn't have KO'd me, so maybe Virizion would have been a better idea. So I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide. And I'm gonna Iron Head the Azumarill. If Landorus switches out, that's fine. Yeah, Azumarill's gonna be the one switching out, which is 100% fine with me. It's actually going to be the Whimsicott, which I wasn't expecting, but that should be game here because that Landorus is now locked into it. Well, actually, I don't know exactly what item it has yet. Maybe Scarf, but it's locked into Rocks. Not locked into Rock Slide. It's burned and at -2 attack from the Intimidates. So I do get a Rock Slide off, and this Iron Head will be very, very big because it means I'm going to be able to pick up the knockout onto his Whimsicott. And given that the Landorus did flinch there, so I got pretty lucky with the flinch. It was obviously going for a Rock Slide because it's Scarfed, given that Tailwind is still up here. I believe, right? Yeah. So, I mean, my opponent, if he got the flinch there on Mawile, it could have helped out because it meant that Whimsicott would have been able to stick around. But I don't know. I don't think there was much I mean, I guess, yeah, if he set up a Tailwind and pulled some stuff off, something could have happened there, but nah. So right now, I just want to avoid this Azumarill setting up a Belly Drum. What I'm actually going to do is just Sucker Punch the Landorus to get rid of the flinch possibility from it and go for the Rock Slide, which is going to be single full target onto Azumarill. You know, while Azumarill's obviously the bigger threat right now, I just don't want to deal with Rock Slide flinches whatsoever. My Rock Slide here is going to connect, Choice Band, single target, going to do a lot more damage than you'd normally expect, bringing it under 50%, which is great. So even if it tries to set up a Belly Drum at this point, you know, things are looking alright. It is going to go for that Belly Drum, and I think that was the play my opponent kind of had to go for at this rate in the game. But the main thing right now is that Azumarill can only target down one Pokemon, which is why I wanted to get rid of that Landorus. So you either target down Mawile or you target down the Landorus. I wonder if Sucker Punch can actually knock it out. Yeah, I'm just gonna Sucker Punch because you kind of have to target Mawile here and hope for a Rock Slide miss. So I'm just gonna get some chip damage off. It might be even enough to pick up the KO. Yeah, actually, it does pick up the knockout. So we are able to pull out a quick win here. Pretty intense one. Though, I mean, I got fairly fortunate. I dodged a Rock Slide early on with Landers, so I don't think that one mattered. And I was able to flinch it there. Of course, I didn't care about the damage that it was getting off, but the flinch possibility onto the Mawile could have made things a bit different, since it would have allowed my opponent to set up a Tailwind there, and a Azumarill could have done some work against my team. So, you know, I'm not going to complain. That is the game, but I think Talonflame was the MVP of this one, and bringing Mawile was definitely the right call. I thought Terrakion was coming out for sure, but I guess my opponent just didn't want to bring Terrakion against a Rotom Wash, Mawile, Landorus, and Virizion, which in retrospect makes a bit of sense. I was just really scared of the Whimsicott Terrakion lead, but I think my opponent wasn't expecting that Mega Gengar to faint from the EQ, so the first 2 turns played out perfectly, and it just went from there. So we're just going to hop back on as we try to climb back over 1900. But yeah, that was a great game, and I think that was one of the merits of using Banned Landorus, because even Intimidated could knock out the Mega Gengar. And of course, this one is more offensive than the careful Choice Band Landorus I've been using for about forever. But this team is really fun to use. I mean, the games go by so much faster, as indicated by like the times of the episodes this week, as opposed to like when I was using the Mega Venusaur team, and those games took like 25 to 30 minutes. These seem like an episode's more like 20 to 25. So yeah, I think it's a nature to how offensive this team is, but I really, really like it. And I think it's a nice change of pace. You know, on Road to Ranked, I do want to feature different Pokemon and Mega Evolutions and whatnot. And I think my playstyle this year has been catered more towards heavily defensive play, as we're going to find a 17-20 opponent from Japan. So it's kind of nice to use a team like this. It actually reminds me a lot of my VGC 2011 team, which revolved around Tailwind Tornadus, and then sweeping with Pokemon like Choice Scarf, Terrakion, Jellicent, Chandelure, etc. So we see a Rain team this time around, and it's pretty interesting that the Mega Evolution's Metagross, which actually might give me some trouble here, but Poly, Thundurus, Talonflame, Lando, Ludicolo, and Metagross. So a very offensive team once again here. Now, it feels a bit weird because normally I have, you know, or I've been using Life Orb Bisharp for about forever, and like I would really, really love to have a Bisharp in this match, but it's not going to be the case here. Now, immediately I can tell Rotom will be really, really good here because it can Hydro Pump to one-hit KO Talonflame and Landorus if Rain is up, Thunderbolt to obviously hit Politoed. I do have T-Wave as well here, which makes it a bit more interesting as opposed to Will-O-Wisp because I can actually slow down the Ludicolo and the Metagross. However, with this Rotom Wash, the most important thing is that Ludicolo does not knock it out before anything happens. So leading correctly is going to be very important, as it really always is. But let's see here. I don't know, there's a good chance my opponent doesn't go with this Rain leads. But like, Rotom is such a good Pokemon, I want to go with Rotom and then like, Talonflame. Because then Talonflame can just Brave Bird knock out the Ludi. Though I don't know, I kind of want to conserve Talonflame in the back and the chance that my opponent leads with Lando. But okay, I guess I'll go with Rotom. Maybe Mawile, just because Mawile's play rough is so strong. I don't know. I want Talonflame in the back this time around just because I don't want it to get intimidated or faked out, but actually Hydreigon is very tempting here. Yeah, just because nothing threatens Hydreigon too much in terms of getting one-hit KOs. I'm going to want Mawile here, I think. No, you want Talonflame as this last one. I don't know. Landorus is kind of tempting as well, though, as is Virizion. Okay, I went with Landorus. I'm not sure if that was the right call here, just because Talonflame puts on so much offensive pressure against the Ludicolo, but the thing is, if I can get rid of the Ludi, then Landorus does really well against my opponent's team. But I'm not sure. I mean, it's so hard to know whether you made the right calls or not until like you see your opponent's Pokemon, so I guess we'll find out. But I'm going to go with Specs Hydreigon, this Rotom Wash, against Ludicolo and Politoed for my opponent's end here. So it is able to set up the Rain immediately. Let's see. So the objective right now is definitely to knock out this Ludi. So I'm actually going to Thunder Wave it and Draco Meteor it, because they can only target one Pokemon right now, so, you know, you can go for a Giga Drain onto Rotom, or a Fake Out onto Hydreigon. But the most important thing is Rotom's guaranteed to stay around for a turn. If it goes for the Giga Drain, then I get the Draco and the T-Wave off, which is important. And of course, most Ludicolos don't carry Lumberry, they carry, like, Assault Vest or Life Orb. But Thunder Wave could be really helpful here. Of course, my opponent doesn't know what item I carry either. And the main reason why I ended up bringing Landorus over like Talonflame was because he can get a Choice Band Earthquake off, which can actually just knock out Metagross, as opposed to Talonflame. Ludi is going to go for the Fake Out, going to target down that Rotom Wash, which is great because it ensures that I get a Paralysis off here. Also important to note that Politoed did not go before Hydreigon or Rotom Wash, meaning it doesn't have Choice Scarf like we sometimes tend to see. As he's going to actually go for the Hypnosis. What? Oh my gosh. Wasn't expecting to see that one, honestly. I mean, it's a move that makes a lot of sense, it's just, its accuracy is so poor. I could switch out Rotom right now, but I think I'm just going to take a turn of sleep. I'm actually going to go for the Dark Pulse, because he faked me out here onto the Ludi. Of course, Dark Pulse's flinch chance paired off with Paralysis is actually very, very strong. So if I am, say, able to get the, you know, Paralysis / flinch here, that would be huge, as Rotom does take its first turn of sleep, bringing Ludi under 50%. Polly goes for the Scald, so maybe predicting the Rotom to switch out. That's why I did not switch it out. Actually targeting down Hydreigon. Does it burn me here? It's not going to burn, and I am going to get the Paralysis onto Ludicolo. So that was what I was playing for. Like, I mean, worst case, he might have... Yeah, actually, you probably Giga Drain Rotom here, but that was actually really important because now I get a extra turn. I'm actually going to go just for the Thunderbolt onto the Politoed to bring it down to Earthquake KO range from the Landorus I have in the back. And I'm just going to Dark Pulse this Ludicolo once again. He's actually going to withdraw the Ludi, which is a good switch, but nothing on his team can really take in a Specs Dark Pulse. It's going to be Talonflame switching in. I am 100% okay with that. That is going to be taking so much damage. Just hangs on with like 1 HP, but I do get a Thunderbolt off against this Politoed as well, as it's probably going to be going for another Hypnosis here. Yep. And it does connect here, so even though Hypnosis is accuracy not the best, pulling some weight here. But I don't know, I definitely I feel really good about this game. Like, Talonflame took so much damage there. I'm just going to go for another Thunderbolt onto the Poly as I'm going to try to wake up here, but the Ludicolo being paralyzed is really good. He's actually going to go for the Helping Hand onto Talonflame, which is good because I thought my Rotom Wash might be falling asleep here. But he is going to go for that Brave Bird, obviously going to target down that Hydreigon slot. Which in retrospect makes a lot of sense, right? Hydreigon's the biggest threat to the Metagross that I have on my team, but this Rotom Wash is able to stick around for much longer than you'd expect it to, so I am going to be able to get yet another Thunderbolt off against this Politoed. That's going to bring it down to around 20%. Yep. Let's see if it has the Citrus Berry, as it does. But another Thunderbolt should knock it out. So yeah, that... I mean, it's kind of nuts to see Hypnosis. I think it's a fantastic move on Politoed, don't get me wrong. It's just that its accuracy is not exactly the highest. So if you're my opponent here, you're probably going to want to switch in Metagross, right? So I'm going to bring in Landorus because I have pretty free synergy with Earthquake right now. There's actually going to be the Ludicolo coming out, which I'm alright with seeing. Mainly because that Ludicolo can, you know, fake out one of my 2 Pokemon right now. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to Thunderbolt the Politoed and go for the U-turn onto Ludi. If Ludi fakes out Landorus, then I knock out Politoed. If it fakes out Rotom, then I U-turn, switch out, knock out the Ludicolo. He's actually going to protect with Politoed, which is even better for me. So, I mean, this game has played out, like, absolutely perfectly. You know, I haven't felt the need to make any advanced predictions. The Hypnosis definitely caught me off guard, and don't get me wrong, I got lucky with the Paralysis onto Ludicolo that turn, but I believe, what, Dark Pulse's flinch chance is 3/10, and Paralysis is, of course, a 4th. So, I mean, the odds were slightly under my favor there, I believe, like 19 out of 40, as opposed to 21 out of 40, if I'm mentally doing this correctly. Let's see. 7/10 and 3/4, 21 out of 40, yeah. But, I mean, that was what I was going for after I saw the Hypnosis. I was like, alright, I need to kind of make some plays right now, as Metagross is going to come in for my opponent's last one. That's perfectly fine. What I'm going to do here is Thunder Wave the Metagross, Mega Evolve, and go... Actually, no. I am just going to Thunderbolt the Politoed since it protected last turn and Sucker Punch this Metagross. Once the Metagross Mega Evolves, I can just switch back out into Landorus, Shuffle, and Intimidates. I mean, it'd be pretty difficult to lose a match when I've got a full HP Rotom Wash, which is one of the best Pokemon I have against a Politoed and a Metagross. Though I guess some shenanigans can happen here if the Metagross, say, gets a Zen Headbutt flinch onto the Rotom, Scald burns my Mawile, something like that. But he's going to protect with the Metagross, smartly enough staying in normal form to get the clear body, meaning that, you know, I can't just Shuffle and Intimidates that easily. But the main problem is I just have too much offense going, as this Thunderbolt should knock out the Politoed. Yeah. My opponent was probably hoping he could survive there and get another Hypnosis off. So now I'm just going to Thunder Wave it and Sucker Punch it. But I guess if it gets a substitute up here, it could create some interesting situations. But no, my opponent's just going to forfeit there. So we are able to take a pretty decisive win here, 3-1. But I mean, Rotom was able to wake up pretty quickly as well, so don't get me wrong, I got pretty fortunate in this match. Hypnosis, that definitely caught me off guard. Like, if my opponent didn't have I think that I was the one, like, the move that could actually really help him. But, like, by switching out, having no safe switches to Dark Pulse was really the main issue there. That was why I was perfectly fine when Ludi switched out, because it ensured that, like, if you just look at my opponent's team, he literally had nothing for Dark Pulse. Like, a Specs Dark Pulse does over 50% to everything and could knock out Metagross, which is why, like, I felt very good once I had Hydreigon in the position it was in. So I'm actually glad my opponent targeted it the first turn with that fake out. But anyway, also another pretty quick episode for you guys, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave a like if you did, and it's nice to get a 2-0 win today after falling 0-2 in yesterday's episode. I'll see what I can do about recording some content while I'm away on vacation, but I'll let you guys know. Of course, there will be, I think, Team Building Thursday. That's what I titled the series. Later today. There will be another episode of Road to Ranked on Friday, and then for the following days, I'll see how many episodes I can pre-record for you guys. But anyway, that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace.